Yo, what's going on, guys? Frankietrades here, bringing you another new weekly watch list. You guys know I love to do these for you guys. But before we get started and dive deep into this one, don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. We're almost at 800, guys, so I think we're around 5 away, but let's go ahead and bump that up to 800, hit another milestone, and then we'll be 200 closer to 1,000. So, but without more being said, let's go ahead and dive deep into it. So, for the current economics week, looks like we don't have too much going on, honestly. We have CPI at 8:30 a.m. Eastern on Wednesday. Jobless claims, PPI final, retail sales all on Thursday at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Let's see. Quadruple witching is this week, so with that we have that to look out for actually. So it'll be a pretty volatile Friday for sure. And then industrial productions at 9:15 a.m. Eastern that the calendar marks that it's important, and then as well as consumer sentiment at 10 a.m. Eastern on Friday. So Friday will definitely be a movie to say the least. Might get a lot of volatility that day, especially with quad witching going on. So, but without more being said, I mean that's pretty much it for the week. So it'll start getting interesting from Wednesday to Friday for sure. But yeah, let's dive deep into what I got. So, first things first is ES. You guys can see here on the 1 year, 1 day, or the daily time frame, as most people like to call it. First thing I am watching is 44.30. You can see we actually have a double bottom across that level right now, so I'm looking for more downside on this. Does that mean I'm bearish? No, it's just what the chart. It's just what the chart is showing me. So that's what I'm going to be leaning towards with this. So going to be looking at 44.30, after that 4400, and then 43.70, and then we have that gap starting at 43.50. With it being a volatile week, we could get down to that level, but we could also get the upside that I'm looking at, which is that 45.50 flat top that we can't get past. So we have two ways to look at this. It's far away from both sides, so we just have to see and judge how it moves throughout the week. So next up is NQ. NQ is pretty much the same story here, if I'm being honest. If you put this on the 1 year, 1 day, you actually can see we actually have a trend line on the 1 year, 1 day. We haven't touched it recently, but we've rejected off of it once, but we've come close to touching it a few times. So I am interested to see what happens if we do come down to 14,700 on that. But the levels that I'm watching are to the upside. I'm looking at 15,700 because we can't get above that level at all. Then 15,900 and 16,000. To the downside, I'm looking at 15,000, 14,700, and then 14,600. We're around the gap starts there on the 1 hour, I believe. So kind of the same story on ES. We're kind of just stuck in a big consolidation, waiting to see which side breaks out first. Whichever side does decide to break out first, or break down from, it'll be a decent move for sure. So going to be looking forward to that. So the stocks to complement this with this week, first up I got is AMD. If you put AMD on the 4 hour, you can see that we actually cannot get below 105. I think this will look even better on the 1 hour. Yeah. You can see we're kind of riding a trend right now on the 1 hour, kind of breaking it end of day, and then after hours we ended up closing below it. But I am looking at 105. After 105, I'm looking at 104.50, which is right here. And then after that, 104, which is the area it struggled to break past before it broke out. So those are the areas I'm looking at AMD. It's on the main watch list because it is holding above 105 really well. So if it's able to get a week ahead of the market, this will be a really good setup to take advantage of. Next up on my main watch list is NVDA. NVIDIA is looking really, really nice this week, if I'm being honest, to both sides, and you guys will see why. So first thing I am watching is 451.70. You can see this is the low it made recently. So, and you can see on Friday actually made a low at around 452, 453-ish. So I'm waiting to see how NVIDIA how it opens up pre-market session, seeing how it reacts coming down to 451.50, which will be my first entry. If it's not looking too weak and kind of just following the market sentiment, if the market's weak, I'll probably just stick to the safer entry at 450 and kind of treat this more of a trade than more of a scalp. But if it does have weakness and it's ahead of the market sentiment, meaning that it's weak on Monday or anytime this week, I'm going to be looking at 451.50, after that 450, and then 449, and this should be a banger trade on this. For the upside, I'm looking at 465, and then 466, and then 470 on that. So we have a $5 gap there above. So yeah, pretty good main watch there. And then for my side watch, I actually have BA. Now, you guys know I'm not normally not a fan of putting BA on the watch list, especially towards the downside. But I did end up trading this on Friday after I told everybody that I'm not going to trade it because of the volume, the liquidity that sucks on this. But surprisingly, when I did get on my trade, the contracts did pick up a little bit of volume. So I'm interested to see, now that we're at more important levels like 210 and 208. I'm interested to see how we handle BA from there and seeing if the stock picks up some volume going around there. But first area I'm looking at is 210. After that is 208, which is the double bottom that we have at the current moment. So should be a good move right there. I have room down to 204, 203, and then 200. So we have lots of room on BA. This area is, at least from what I remember, used to be pretty smooth. So it is a side watch though, because it is pretty far away and it's BA. And the reason why it's a side watch because it's BA is because of how much volume it lags towards the downside. If this is an upside setup, I'd be all over it because BA picks up a lot more volume than the upside than it does to the downside. That's just how the stock works. I don't know why. It's just how it works, and a bunch of other stocks are like that too. So next up is Netflix. You guys can see here, if I put this on the 1 year, 1 day, you guys can see we actually have a gap around $17 left on this gap from 453 all the way up to 470. But I am looking at the 450 area again. 450 potentially for a good scalp if this is strong and ahead of the market. Netflix does like to squeeze a lot of times in the morning, either one way or either go to the upside or the downside. But I'm obviously interested more towards the upside on this kind of setup. I'll probably treat 450 as a scalp if anything, unless I see some real momentum there. Maybe hold the trade out to 453. It would be pretty hard to hold the trade out like that, especially with how much Netflix contracts move and how volatile it can get. But I'm looking at 450, 453, 45 as an entry, and then after that 455. And then the next area I would trade is 460. So lots of room on that stock. Pretty excited to see when we get up there, if we do get there this week. So. And last but not least is Tesla. You guys can see here, let me put this on 4 hours so you guys can see a better picture here. You guys can see we actually have a daily downtrend. Or not a daily downtrend, but I guess a 4 hour downtrend. But you can see how many times we rejected off of it from where we started off this local high in the 4 hour time frame. We rejected 1, 2, 3, 4 times now. The fourth time we ended up breaking a little bit above and then ended up closing below. You could say this is weak because it did fail to break that trend line. Honestly, with Tesla, you never really know. Sure, a lot of people can say, oh, it's weak based off the chart, it's bear flagging, this and that. I can care less what it's doing on the chart. I'm going to trade based on what's in front of me and how it's doing. So if this is strong on Monday morning, happens to gap up, and it's back at that 255 area, I may as well take that entry because of that 4 hour trend line right there. And take that into 450 or 256, and then after that I'll take 260 and then 261 as its own trade towards the upside. Now, if we happen to continue the momentum and movement downwards after that rejection off that 4 hour trend line, then I'll be looking at 242, that, and then into 240 and then 238. So pretty simple levels on Tesla. Not looking at too much here. Kind of just basing it off this trend line and seeing where it can go from there. Tesla's been a stock that's been holding up pretty well on its own, despite the market moving downwards at some days, and then Tesla ended up being the strong one, or just holding up as its own and not really following the market towards the downside. So it's been doing its own thing. So interesting to see what it does this week, if it starts to pick up some weakness ahead of the market or some strength ahead of the market. You never know. So, or it could just consolidate. So, but yeah, guys, that is pretty much it for the watch list. Not too much going on earnings either on any of the stocks that I like to play. So not too much going on there. But with that being said, guys, I hope you guys enjoy the weekly watch list that I do for you guys. Don't forget to leave a like, comment, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. I have something cooking special for you guys, so be on the lookout whenever I do decide to post this. I might even post a community post and get you guys hyped up for it. So even post a clip on my Instagram, like maybe 10 to 15 second clip. But with that much more being said, guys, hope you guys enjoy that, and don't forget to stay safe and, be careful in the markets. So yeah, hope you guys take care. Peace out.